This is the Ooit-Duitse Rundfunk News in English. Today's subject is the evacuation of the American embassy. We are reporting live from the capital from South Vietnam, Saigon. Mies, what actually happened in Vietnam?
The American embassy conquered Saigon during the Vietnamese War. Now the Vietnamese were sick of it, which I totally understand. They launched an operation called Frequent Winds and evacuated the American embassy.
Our reporters made some videos from the situation in Vietnam, in Saigon. Here they are. Well, that was a heavy event. Mies, how did they evacuate the American embassy?
I'm standing here next to Doong, who made up the operation. Doong, can you tell us something about Operation Frequent Winds?
Well, of course. When we were first thinking about this operation, we had four options. It would be an evacuation by commercial airlifts in Tan Son Nhut and other South Vietnamese airports as required. Option 2 was evacuation by military airlift from Tan Son Nhut and other South Vietnamese airports as required. Option 3 was an evacuation by sea lift from Saigon port. And the last option was the option we used. This was an evacuation by helicopter to the US Navy ships in the South China Sea.
And what specifically happened?
Now, in 19 hours, 81 helicopters lifted nearly 6,000 Vietnamese and more than 1,000 Americans from various locations in Saigon. More than half of the refugees were taken to the US Midway. Yesterday was the final evacuation, which lifted from the US Embassy.
Well, I think it was a good plan, and to see, the plan worked.
Yes.
And could you tell something about the Americans? How did they react?
Well, of course there are some Americans left. I will go to the graveyard to find them. Hello? Are you an American soldier?
Yes.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
How did you experience the event?
It was awful. I was lucky because I was hiding in a Vietnamese family, but as you see, I'm wounded, and it was just awful because the Vietnamese tried to kill every single American, and they just showed no mercy, and I just don't get why they had to kill so much people and had to do all this just to become communistic.
Well, it must have been terrible for the American embassy.
Well, I do understand why they want to become communistic. There's equality and employment. Who doesn't want that? There were a lot of refugees. I heard they fled from the Missouri with helicopters and boats. Do you know how it was for them?
I'm standing here next to Lee, who fled with a boat to Cambodia. Lee, why did you flee?
Well, I had American friends and the Vietnamese showed no mercy. My sister was killed, so we knew we were unsafe. So we took the first boat we saw and fled to Cambodia. We were so lucky because a lot of people tried to take a boat, but they were all too late. The Vietnamese saw us and tried to stop us, but they were too late and we were already gone. For me, the event was running for my life.
What a story. They showed no mercy. What did you think when you was on the boat?
All the children on the boat were crying. People were screaming because they lost their friends and family. I was so scared, but luckily I'm still alive.
It should have been terrible on that boat, but it resulted in good things.
Yeah.
Thank you for this interview. Bye.
Bye.
Yes, Mies, can you tell something about the results? How is it now in Vietnam? Is it still noisy or very crowded? Or peaceful?
It is still very noisy here, and people are screaming and crying because they lost their family or friends. Many things are destroyed and many people are homeless. Here's Doong again. Hello, Doong.
Hello.
What do you think will happen in the coming days?
Well, I hope this will be the end of the Vietnamese War. This war started in 1957 and it was a terrible war. Everyone will be very happy if this is finally over. It would be fantastic if Vietnam would become communistic without anyone stopping us. This will mean that we have equality, sometimes a dictatorship, and always employment. This government owns a lot and they can distribute the jobs.
Thank you both. Communism is just perfect. If you want to be communistic, then you can be communistic. The unemployment problems are totally solved. I'm glad this finally happened. Thank you for watching Oost Deutsche Rundfunknews in English.